Hello, my friends, again. A little birdie has told me that my students might want me to recreate this little wooden chair that I did in a class. And some said that they may want a video of that so they could follow along and actually maybe have a chance to rewind it and watch it at their own pace. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do just that. Here is the chair. We're going to start off this video and this project like any good Blender project should start, and that is with a basic cube. So, Shift A, and we ask for a cube to be presented right there in the middle where our 3D cursor is. Now that's a pretty thick seat for a chair, so I'm going to scale that on the Z, and we're going to bring it down to where maybe it's a little more reasonable. I'm going to get on the Z, and I'm going to raise it up a little bit so it's just above the working floor here. All right, as we did before, we're going to lengthen it just a hair, not too much. So I'm going to scale this on the y-axis and just make it a little more out front so we can have a seat here and we can have area back here for the backrest. Okay? Now what do? We go to our favorite tool, Loop Cuts. Control R. Have to go into edit first, Control R, and we place a couple loop cuts. Just two will do for right now. And we'll have a couple the other way. Control R, put two there. Okay. Now, we've got a section, 9 squares, basically. So what I'm going to do is Alt-click this edge, and it's going to select this entire loop cut. Now I'm going to double G, and I'm going to slide it to where I think it might be a good position down here. Alt-G, double G, slide it down to about here. Okay? Alt-G, double G, slide it over here. Alt-G, double G, and drag it here. If you remember from the last class, the double G will allow you to slide loop cuts. It'll actually allow you to slide several things on the edge. Okay. So here we go. We're going to switch over to faces. Number 3 on the line key. I'm going to select 4 corners, faces, and now we're going to press the I key to inset. Now, how much do we want to inset? Basic chair size leg. Maybe about like that. And there we go. We got 4 little faces that are still selected. And now we press the E key. Let's go to the front. Let's go to the front face. Ignore this over here. Go to the front face, extrude those legs. Okay? Now you can see that I basically, if I flip this over, I would have a table. But we have now the beginning of the chair. With these still faces still selected, and up here we have the individual transform at the individual pivot points. I'm going to scale these, and I'm going to just do a little taper is all we're doing there. Okay? You can see that we've tapered these legs a little bit. Okay? All right. Let's flip this over and start working on the backdrop or the back portion of this little chair. Okay? So I go to Object Mode. You use here you go. You add the Tab key. You take, and I want to rotate this on the Y or the X axis 180 degrees. Okay, so that flips it completely over. Now you see it flipped the legs down into the floor, so I'm just going to get G, I'm going to grab it on the Z axis, and I'm going to raise it up. Okay, raise it up again above the floor. All right. Now, we're going to do the same thing, basically, as we go back to the edit mode. We're going to use this and this as our back. Press the I. And now, what I want to do is I want to make these kind of a thinner slat. I don't want it to be like a chair leg. I want it to be the slat portion. So I'm going to scale these two on the X. And that's going to bring these two more into a position like this. Okay? Now, without going all the way into a single axis view, I'm going to kind of bring the view down a little bit. Now I'm going to extrude those. And these will be the two back slats for our chair. Okay? It's kind of proportional. Okay? Does that look pretty good? Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm going to extrude it one more time. And extrude it one more time. Okay? I did that so I didn't have to make loop cuts here. I just extruded it and made it taller, and now we have these pretty well positioned. The back may be a little tall. I don't know. We can adjust it later. All right. What do I want to do? I want to pull a slat across here for one of the back slats where your back rests on. So select this surface, this face, insert, bring it down to maybe about like that, and then extrude it across, just like we did in the last class. Okay? We can bring it into this. You can see where I brought it, drug it, and put it inside this piece here. Okay? Well, I want another one. But what I want to do is, and I don't know that I showed you this, but you can select by drawing a box around the items you want to select. So these are in face mode. So I want to select all of these faces right here. And I want to get G. I want to grab on the Z axis, and I'm going to bring that down. That was a little high. Okay. There we go. Now that's a little better. All right. Now I'm going to put a couple more, click over here to deselect everything. Just click over here where there's nothing, and it'll deselect it. All right. Now I'm going to put a couple more fruit loops. No, loop cuts. Control R. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to drag it up to maybe about there. Let's see. Let's put it right there. Now, as I showed you in our last class, you can bevel this loop cut. Control B, and you can make this section again like that. Okay? Now go to faces with the 3 on the number line. I'm going to select this one face. I'm going to inset it again. And I'm going to scale that on the Z axis a little bit so it's not as tall, not as thick as this one. Now I'm going to extrude it and bring it over. Well, it looks as tall as the other one, or it looks as thick as the other one, doesn't it? Maybe equal. Okay, that's all right. We're good to go. There you have it, folks. You basically have a chair there. Now, all the extra that I do from here on is just making it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more detailed. Okay, we're going to highlight all this. Going to press the P key, and we're going to ask Blender to identify all of this as an object, okay, by selection. Okay, now it's another object. To prove that, we have this cube and we have this cube. Now it just says cube 1 cube. Okay, well, what's what? All right, let's do what I have recommended many times. Select and name your objects. So this is the seat portion. And this, F2, is the backrest. All right, now they're identified here. Backrest, seat. Okay? Now the question is, well, how do we get this to lean back? Well, very easy. We go to the side view, we go to rotate, and we rotate the seat back. Okay? Let's put a nice little back slant on it, and there we go. Okay? That's simple. Because it's a separate object, the whole chair is not going back or rotating. It's just this section right here. All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to thin this middle, or this slat up a little bit. So I'm going to grab it, and select it, and I'm going to grab it to the Z, and kind of bring it down some. Make it just a little thinner. Okay, that looks a little better to me. All right. Now, what do we want to do about these straight? Oh, that would be a killer on the back, wouldn't it? On a child's back. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some loop cuts. All right. I think 7 would be good. 7 there. Come down here. 7 here. If I can get my wheel to stop rotating. Okay. Now we're going to go up to the top view. We're going to select, let me show this to you in 3D view to help you remember what we're doing here. We're pressing the Alt key down and selecting this full, all 4 sides, all 4 edges of this loop cut. Now we're also going to press the Alt key down and the Shift and select all 4 of these. So now we have 2 loop cuts selected. Okay? Now we'll go to the top view. You can see them here again. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to turn on proportional editing, which I hope you've seen that video that I made specially for you. And we're going to curve these back slats. Okay? I'm going to grab them on the Y. I'm going to scroll in. I want only this portion to be influenced. And we're going to curve. Okay? I can maybe go a little further. Yeah. And there, oh, that's a nice curve. That would give comfort to any child. Okay, you see them now? Nice curve. Now what we want to do, front view, we want to do the same thing, only one, this is more aesthetics, I think. We want to grab these on the z-axis and pull them up. So it's a nice double curve, basically. You see? You've seen chairs like this, I believe. Okay? So now it's curved in two different sections, two different directions, not sections. Okay? There we go. Now, to make a little more, you're basically done with the chair. I mean, that's a basic chair right there. And you could stop there. But you know me, I like to add a few details, and this will help you learn other aspects. I'm going to select the seat object. I'm going to select this edge, right, the front edge corner, and these two. And what am I going to do? Well, I have to put a bevel on it. You know that. So now we can have a nice rounded edge, so nobody will knock their knees on those edges there. Okay. I can put a couple decorations, maybe. Let's do this. Let's go with loop cuts down here, down on the legs. Okay, pick a leg. Now, you don't have to because this whole object is selected, but just to be on the safe side, select an edge. Okay, let me get close up to it. Loop cut and set it and drag it up. Let me show you something. Let me delete that. Okay. Up over here, you will notice something that comes up when I go to drag this loop cut. So pay attention over here, and you can get some pretty precise readings on how far you drag things. Look up here, okay? Right up in here. All right, I'm going to put the loop cut in, set it, now drag it. Now look up there. It's changing numbers, isn't it, as I drag it? We can try to drag it by manually with the mouse, or we can do the trick of adding the number in by the number pad. I want it to maybe be 0.4. Okay? Whoops, 0.4. Oh, I'm going to have to do it with, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do it with the keyboard. 0.4. Okay? And that's how far this has been dragged up. So I left click to cancel it, or to confirm it. All right? Go over here. Do the same thing. 0.4. See, I'm manually dragging it now. 0.4. And it takes it's a little tricky. You know, you have to fine tune it. Well, it's taking more than I wanted it to. Okay, I'm just going to go 0.4. Okay. Put another one in. Control R. Click. 0.4. Confirm. Control R. Click. Whoops, I didn't do that right. Let me undo. Click. Now see, it's a moving now, and this is when you're able to move it. That's when you type in the number 0.4. Okay, then click. Now all of these should be equally at the same distance. So let's check it. Yeah, they look about the same, don't they? All right, they should be. That's what you told Blender to do. So if it doesn't do it, just blame Blender. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select all these. Alt, select, press the Shift key, click, click, click. Now you had the Alt and the Shift key down together to select all of those. Okay. Another way to do it, use your click and drag and highlight those. Okay. You can unselect them or select them. That's another easy way to do it. Okay. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to bevel these, as I showed you in class before. Okay. And I'm going to put a one bevel to make two segments. Okay. And then click that. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Alt, click, press the Shift key down, Alt, or click, click, click. You might have to practice this a few times to get this down and certainly to get it in your memory. Okay. Now all I'm going to do is scale those. Whoop, I don't want to use proportional editing. I want to use straight editing. So now scale, and I'm going to put a little dent in the chair legs. And now you can see they're decorated a little bit. Well, you could go on and on and on, but I'm going to end there. I'm going to say, now you have tried, or you've seen me do a chair, and you have seen me do several, you have seen me do several tools and use them properly to get to this point. So I'm going to end it there and practice, practice, practice. And I will see you in class Wednesday, and we'll talk more about this if you need to. You can ask questions on Wednesday. Okay, thank you for listening. See you Wednesday.